Hey, what's up, guys? Back with another video with the American homeless apocalypse. Oh, no, Holocaust. The American homeless Holocaust. Because, yeah, I guess that's more evocative of Paul's situation. It's a Holocaust, not an apocalypse. Is another entry of a diary of a homeless man being exterminated. HR replacement algorithm. Okay, that's interesting. Like, I want to hear what is the concept of the replacement algorithm in the HR sector. So, Paul, please take it away.
Dear Diary,
Dear Diary.
since over the nearly 8 years I worked for this company, I did so much for them off the clock. Staying late and making sure the place was safe and secure.
All right, was that a requisite of your job? Was that something they asked you to do, or did you do that out of the kindness of your heart for no money, no monetary gain? It was just like for brownie points? Like, fucking why?
Handing out candy to boost morale, to make up.
Oh yeah, he loves it's he's the candy man, and he was handing out like cheap shit candy, like to be that guy. It was like, hey, I got a Twix bar, love me.
Up for the bad morale that came from New Jersey at my own expense while homeless, living in a car, cleaning up the parking lot, shoveling snow, chipping ice, all these things. And
Absolutely not part of your job description. Like, it was not something you were asked to do. It was something you did, like, on your own. Like, no one asked you to do that.
so I did that for so many years. I figure why stop now? So I want to offer one last free gift to the company I worked for the owner.
Oh yeah, I figured he types everything out. Like, he's literally got a manifesto sitting on his computer there. That's like leaning up against his wheel. Like, sometimes it's not always clear, but yeah, he like would he's got a script.
And the upper management. This is a computer algorithm to replace human resources.
Sure.
And I strongly encourage the company to do so. Get rid of these human resource people.
Isn't that like completely short-sighted? So if the algorithm is like heavily biased against certain people, certain races, certain religious backgrounds, and it's the algorithm will be dictated by the same kind of HR people you despise. Like, it would probably make it 10 times worse. Like, at least the HR women that fired you in New Jersey, like, they can possibly be replaced with maybe someone a little bit more, reasonable and even keeled. This is just like possibly like something that could be completely weighted against people like you, Paul.
Get rid of them. Bring in a personnel department to handle these benefits and paperwork and things of that nature. Employee records. But get rid of these people who spend all their time just monitoring people and looking to put them on their shit list, judging people and deciding who lives and who dies when they are unelected and unaccountable, and there's no third-party process for an appeal. When these people just personally hate somebody.
Essentially, like, I don't know if his job was unionized or they would have any representative or like advocate for him, but essentially that would be your recourse. You would go through your union, you would lobby against whoever this HR department, you would perhaps get an appeal like lodged, but like from what I understand, like there was no recourse for him, like unless he wants to like civilly sue them in court, which I think he's alluded to before, but I think it ends up that he's never had enough money to like pay for a lawyer, or maybe a lawyer wouldn't take him pro bono because the case is so fucking stupid.
And fire them and destroy their entire lives. maybe because they're homeless, or because they're old, or because they're male, or all the above.
Maybe the last one.
So this algorithm is based on my experience with human resources. So human resources claim
Oh, it's his algorithm. Oh, excuse me. This is his algorithm apparently.
to be a competent professional office. So therefore, my observations of what they did in this case must represent their process and what they do. That is what this algorithm will replace. So let's take a look at this. It's been many years since I did computer programming, but if I ever need to, I can do it.
Is this Python? Is it
So I wrote this out in my own
CSS?
shorthand. Starts out with the name of the algorithm, program harassment complaint process. It loads the accuser's employee record.
It's like literally like compile language going into like a script that's going to run this HR algorithm throughout the United States. So, but housing homeless, fired. Then begin for accused of all right, so it's okay. Let me back up. I think what he's trying to do here is this is the AI algorithm that was used against him, like in a hypothetical situation that he's put out here. All this is essentially what they kind of fired him for, but this is like obviously distilling it down very simply. But I guess the idea is this is the algorithm that they ran to fire him. Okay, I think I'm clear on this.
Then it loads the accused employee record. And then it runs this initial subroutine, the workforce cleansing subroutine. So if the accused person's housing status is homeless,
Yeah.
then you go through this process between begin and end. You fire the accused, you run another subroutine which is called offer hush money, and then you go to investigation complete, which is down here. So here's the subroutine investigation complete, and at that point it will print out a message on the screen that says thorough investigation completed. That's if
just so you know, I always used to think that was his car running and it was his shoddy transmission just whining and crying. It's his laptop. It's completely busted and its fan seems to have like in a state of failure, or like it's probably so dusty and clogged that it's like barely rotating at this point.
if the accused homeless record shows that they're homeless. If it does not say homeless, then it will go down here to else if accused record age is greater than or equal to 55 years old, then fire the accused, run the subroutine to offer hush money, and then go to investigation complete and print out the phrase thorough investigation completed. If the accused is not homeless and is not 55 years or older, else if the accuser's sex is female and the accused sex is male, then fire the accused. Offer the hush money and investigation complete. Print out the phrase thorough investigation completed. If that's not the case either, then there's one other instance it looks at here, the workforce cleansing routine. If the accuser is attractive and the accused is not attractive.
So he's like essentially talking about like the horn halo effect, where if you are a good looking person, especially female, like the odds-on chances are that if you make an accusation like this, you will be believed without doubt, without any sort of overview or oversight. It'll just be accepted as is in his mind. So generally, that's the vibe I'm getting.
Then fire the accused, offer hush money, and go to investigation complete and print out the phrase thorough investigation completed. So that's the initial subroutine to just cleanse the workforce. Then the actual harassment investigation begins. It begins by generating a random Boolean value.
All right.
So a Boolean value is a logical value. It's either true or false. Those are your two options.
Which absolutely, like in Paul's mind, it's always like that. It's either like there's no shades of grey with Paul. There's no like he'll offer his version of events and it's binary. It's going to be true or false. Like there's no in between. But we only ever have his side of the story, so it's always going to be very preferential to his narrative. It would be wild if this lady appeared at some point and said what the actual stages of events were and her side of the story. But I'm guessing she's still working in this company, and this company's like, can you please not mention anything like this on social media? This guy is just going to latch onto it like a parasite and not let go.
And it calls that value fire accused. So it generates a random true or false. Then it goes through the logic. If fire accused equals true, then fire the accused. Offer hush money, and print out thorough investigation completed. Otherwise, if this random value, fire accused, is not true, then you go down here, and if the accuser is homeless,
okay,
then you fire the accuser.
What? Really?
Of course, you don't have to offer hush money there, so you just complete the investigation.
Are we? Is the criteria accounting for whether they're male or female if they're homeless and they're the accuser? Is that going into it, or is it just like it's irrespective of gender? Because you're putting a lot of emphasis on the genders.
If that's not the case, then if the accuser is 55 years or older, then fire the accuser. Don't need to offer hush money here. Complete the investigation. If that's not the case, then if the accuser is male and the accused person is female, then fire the accuser.
Is male and accused. So why didn't you put that here? If we're not taking into account that the accuser could be female in this scenario, then why not just put that there? Because I'm thinking in every instance, if the accuser is female over 55, then it would just, and the accused is a male. I don't know. He's not putting that side of the calculation in, I guess.
Fire the male. In this case, you do want to offer hush money. Uh-oh, I left something out here. My bad. Go to investigation complete.
Okay.
All right. So that's the subroutine for investigation complete. So the next line is end program harassment complaint process. That's it. That's all there is. So that's based on my experience with human resources at this company when this coworker of mine filed a malicious harassment complaint that had no basis at all.
Okay, this is obviously his perspective and versions of events is like very, very complimentary of Paul. But he is, over time, and there's like plenty of videos, he's let certain details slip and go by that over time has painted this narrative like completely like this is a completely toxic kind of. He's kind of like a white knight kind of like character where he is inserting himself into this woman's life, the backstabber, quote unquote, the accuser, quote unquote, um, is essentially he, I wanted to say he had a sexual attraction to her. She was a young woman working in this company. He has tried to insert himself into her life, into her personal life, um, in different ways. He's bought her lavish gifts that is just like completely inappropriate. Like if you are in a job, I'm in a job right now. If I were to do something that Paul was doing and it wasn't reciprocated or wanted, or like the person didn't really want this relationship and I was doing this, um, yeah, I would anticipate being called in and um, possibly being disciplined or reprimanded or moved to a different part of the company or straight out like let go. Like there is no question of it. But his delusion is obviously so strong that this was all like a selfless caring act for this person. He also implicates like this woman had a serious drug problem. Now, he's never confirmed that that was the case. It was never confirmed to him. He just he had a strong suspicion that this woman was using some sort of narcotic or whatever the case may be. And he felt like it was affecting um, her ability to work and do a job properly, which is none of his concern. I'm pretty sure he has said that he has voiced that concern to his middle management or his supervisor or his direct boss. But at the end of the day, like unless this woman is being so erratic or out of control that she's making him uncomfortable, to which I think he kind of alludes that maybe she was, but to what degree is weird with Paul because everything kind of annoys him and gets on his nerves, and it's always an affront to Paul. So yeah, so he's got a suspicion on this woman, and it's like imagine you're working in this employment and someone has a suspicion that you're on drugs or you're an alcoholic or something like that, but they don't have any concrete proof. It's just like a whim. It's like, oh yeah, I have a theory, and I'm going to really start implementing like my sort of own values and morals onto her by like offering drug rehabilitation, AA meetings. I don't know what this gift was, but from what he alludes to, it was something in order to get your life back together. So I'm thinking like books or some sort of self-help um, program. I don't know what it was, but he alluded to the fact that it was going to help her in the long term get better. And it's just like, wait a minute, like you can't just fucking arbitrarily like decide that you are going to take it on yourself to help a person that you don't even know. He hasn't even asked her straight up, do you have a problem in your personal life that is affecting your work capabilities? And he doesn't even know that. Like that's the big problem with Paul. He's just jumped to this conclusion and then inserted himself into this person's life, and it's like it's a stain on her reputation. If this person is just a nervous person or has weird tics or something like that, that might look like they might be on drugs, but it could be further from the truth. It's just Paul's taken it on himself because he's such a fucking Christ-like figure to inject himself into her life um, when it clearly wasn't asked for. So this is Paul. This is Paul here. So he's done all this. He's bought gifts. He's obviously, I think, sexually advancing on this woman. Like, she doesn't really want to deal with him. It's pretty damn clear from like the little bits and pieces of information. If you apply the logic and like to a normal human's like logic process, you would say, no, that's not really appropriate in this work environment in this year. Like that doesn't happen anymore. And it sounds like the relationship was not reciprocated, or it wasn't like a very close relationship. It was just like he wanted to take her burden on and like insert himself, and he's this self-help Christ-like figure that was going to get her straight and back on the straight and narrow, where essentially he didn't know her circumstances at all. It was just a suspicion.
Appears, by all appearances, this seems to replicate exactly what human resources did, since they never actually talked to me. They never asked me any questions. They never asked me to clarify anything I put in this written response. They had me write a written response to a complaint that they wouldn't even reveal to me, so I had absolutely no idea what I'm responding to. Or what
is it maybe perhaps they want to protect this person's identity? Like there is, and it's an interesting little reveal because it doesn't actually implicate her at all. Like if it's a hidden complaint, like he's just going on, I guess, the suspicion and the theory that this was the turn of events that led to him being fired, but he doesn't know that because it was never clearly revealed to him. So it's just his hunch that it was this woman's complaint to management that was pushed on through the HR company in New Jersey that eventually ended up getting him fired. But he doesn't know that for sure.
What I'm accused of, this algorithm will cover it. So if this company will just fire these human resource so-called professionals and hire a personnel department to handle the paperwork and the benefits stuff, then all of this pointless nonsense that the company's paying for these basically busybodies to sit around and spy on everybody and look to put them on lists and see if they don't like them and fire them, destroy their entire lives. They can just get that out of the company. So I offer this subroutine for free. If the company wants me to program this, I'll be happy to do so. Just let me know what language you want. Do you want basic, or if you're given the software, the antediluvian software we were using at this
Java
company, maybe they want it done in COBOL.
Oh.
But, if you want it done in C++ or assembly language or something like that, just let me know. My fee would be $5 million, which is only the tiniest fraction of what this company should be paying me for what they have done to me.
All right, that is the replacement algorithm. I actually had a completely different notion of what that title meant, but yeah, it was essentially the compiler code, or the code he would write to run whatever the algorithm was to fire him the way he thinks he was fired. So that's kind of interesting. But yeah, that's another wild fucking. It's another wild pull little routine there. Yeah. All right. Shorter one. Thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you on the next one. I'll probably upload something soon because this was actually pretty short. So he's got a few more videos out. I'm trying to not do them in chronological order because it doesn't really matter. You could jump through any of his videos and it wouldn't matter. Like nothing really changes day to day for him, so it's pretty easy to not get lost. Yeah. All right. Catch you later, guys.